Here's another Craftsman USA tool haul from the Van Buren swap meet. I don't know what it is about that swap meet, but I love going there to dig through piles of old tools. I'm curious what you guys like more, garage sales or swap meets. Let me know in the comments below. Then let's get into the dirty details right after this. Okay, I usually save the really cool finds for later on in the video, but I'm going to start off with the best find of the weekend. Craftsman open-end wrench from the 1930s. These are some of my favorites. This one has 13/16 on one end, 3/4 of an inch on the other, a 1731 stamp, and the C1 mark forged in, which means it's pre-war. And the fact that it's a full underline logo on Craftsman and made of vanadium means that this was made between 1933 and 1941, right before World War II. They stopped using vanadium during the war for rationing purposes. But this one is in pretty good shape, besides the chrome plating wearing off. I love these wrenches though. I have a couple of others from the same time period. This one was made during the war because it was not made of vanadium. And this one was before the war. They're so cool. I don't know if I'll clean this up to get the rest of the chrome off. It looks like that's what happened to these when I, from somebody else before I got them. But I'll decide later. Cool find though. Here's another pretty old wrench. It's got 1 inch on one side, 15/16 on the other. This one has the V stamp, and because it has the pointed A logo, this went on for several years, but this one with the tall A's and the tall C tells me that this is the version between 1944 and 1948. It's got this interesting owner's engraving. I think it says SG. I always find that interesting. But pretty good shape, a little bit of surface rust that'll clean right up. All right, here's another old one. Found a lot of good old wrenches this time. So 3/4 inch combination wrench, V stamp. This one is a little newer, right? So because it has the pointed A, but it's not as tall, meaning the peak isn't as tall. Same with the C, but you can see the angles a little more clearly. So this is the one they used between 1945 and 1970. They use this for a long run, just to compare the differences real close. So you can see the difference in the A and the C. There's some other minor differences in the S as well. That's how you tell the difference between late 40s and then like the 50s, 60s version. This one has a pretty interesting owner stamp as well. This little T1. Pretty cool. And then it's beat up pretty good. They used the crap out of this one. I don't mind though. Looks like they took a sander to it probably needed to get it into a nice tight spot. Still cool. Now talk about customization. Check this guy out. So this obviously was made for a very particular job. They welded it or heated it up and then bent the crap out of it just to get right into that perfect angle for some job. I don't know what it is, but I love these customized ones. I'm not into ruining tools, right? But this just, I don't know, has an interesting, mysterious story to it. But this one is not as old. The barnyard A's that they used in this one. And this one has the very narrow M. So I put this one in that category between 1968 and 85. The wider M's started in the late 80s. VV stamp. But I don't know, I like these ones. Check this one out that my father-in-law gave to me. It's an old proto ratchet, but it's a big boy. Heavy. But obviously bent for a particular job. So this one came in all rusty. I cleaned it up. It's a keeper. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but again, it just tells a nice story. Cool stuff. So I have a lot of tools here. I'll try to go through them a little quicker. There's a nice little 1/2-inch combination wrench. I think it's the same time period from this 3/4 inch one, right between 1945 and 1970. V-stamp, good wear and tear. There's another really cool old one. Right, it's got the pointed A's, but it's got that N4 stamp. That means it was made during the wartime. It's also got the circle P, pretty small. So this one I had to look up on Alloy Artifacts. I'll put the link down below, but they placed this one at 1945. It's one of the first instances of the pointed A logo without the underlined logo. It's a very early version of this logo, but they ended up using this for the next 25 years or so. And yet another customized wrench. So this one's pretty old, kind of like this one from late 40s, between 1944 and 48, due to the logo and the texture too. It's like a kind of a pasty texture. I wish I knew more about the metals to tell you about it, but it just feels different than the other ones. But check out this custom job. I don't even know what this is for. But they welded it on there for some purpose. It's so cool. Here's a really old socket that I found. 1/2-inch, 12-point, odd size, so 19/32. And if you can see the logo is scratched off, but you can see the partial underlined logo. And then look really closely, you can kind of see the circle H there. But these are some of my favorites. I have a whole set of PE sockets, 1/2-inch, but I don't have this size. I wish it was BE, but that's all right. Still very cool. And these 1/2-inch extension bars. Awesome finds. One's 10 inches, one is 5. Let's see, turn them upside down. This one's Circle H, the 5-inch. Thanks to my neighbors for the noise, but that's alright. Cleaned up. This one is BE, the 10-inch. Here are a couple more extension bars. Here's a 6-inch, 1/2-inch, but this one's pretty old. It's got that Barnyard A logo, but the fact that they're tall letters, a little bit spread out, puts this one between 1955 and 1967. E-stamp needs some cleaning. And this one, not as interesting, but still cool, probably from the late 80s. I got a few of these. And here are some flat ratchet box end wrenches. I usually pass on these, but I don't know, they're striking some more interest in me. Don't know how old these are, except for this one. This one says 1987. Oops. It's got the Canadian patent on there. Patent brev. That means brevet in French, same as patent. But what I like most about these are these super cool glyphs that they mark them with. It's like their numbering system. I gotta learn more about these, but really fascinating. This one also has the patent number. This one, not much, it's probably newer. And this one has those, you know, the engraved logo, some smudge. This bothers me. I don't like when they do this. These things wear off so easily. Need to be forged in like that or embossed. Nice. I found these interesting screwdrivers, mainly interesting because I don't have them in my collection. I have a lot of screwdrivers, but not these. This one's a 5/16, about 1.5 inch long, slotted flathead screwdriver, probably from the late 80s. This one's a P1 Phillips, and I don't have this narrow one in my collection, also from probably the late 80s. Good condition, good stuff. Have a 3-inch scratch all punch. So probably from that period of 1968 and 1985. I have one of these from the 90s that I use all the time, and I'm shocked that I still have the protection tip there. But because this one is older, I just automatically like it more, so we'll see. I just had the pliers, 6 3/4 inch slip joint pliers. WF stamp there. Probably from the late 80s. Needs a little bit of cleaning. Maybe a lot of cleaning. Pretty stiff. Got that interesting cutter there. And 3 levels of teeth. The cutter is interesting because I haven't seen many of these. I usually have the ones that have like this type of cutter. There's another one, even newer. Still cool though. I'll clean it up. And here's a pretty cool set of pliers. 8 inches, short nose, needle nose. I'm a little confused on the date on this one. It looks like a pretty old logo. It's got a C stamp, but no model number. But it has the grips on it. So I think it's from like the late 60s before they put model numbers on these. Interesting find though, I love it. All right, well that's it for this tool haul. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're still watching, and I doubt you are, please consider clicking thumbs up icon, subscribe, click the bell icon. And if you know of anyone else that might like this, please share it. But thanks for watching. Don't forget, keep the dirty side down. Later.